All right. Welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. Welcome back to all you listening on Biz Talk Radio and everybody out on Facebook and social media. Thank you. All right. So Xen Sams joins us right now. She's an actress. She's a model. She's a super mom. Xen, and I know you probably don't care about paying attention to the boring stuff when I talk about markets before I get to each segment, but I've been telling you that I'm short AMC theaters and Macy's and Gap because I think these stocks are going to just keep going down.
Yep.
And now you're a Hollywood insider. Apparently they're selling a whole bunch of theaters because they're running low on cash.
They are, but they're in a good position. They just signed an agreement to sell 9 cinema locations in the Baltic region for $77 million to basically reduce debt and strengthen their liquidity. There's a company, they're called Up Invest. They're owners of a Baltic cinema group, and it seems that they will acquire all 9 venues for what seems to be a very attractive valuation, John. This transaction marks yet another bold and decisive action taken on the heels of their capital raises. They've been doing many capital raises and debt restructuring. So I think that this is going to bolster their liquidity and strengthen their balance sheet at a transaction multiple that underscores the inherent value of their theater portfolio and resilience of their business. As of now, they continue to be encouraged by attendance levels at theaters that have reopened in Europe, where essentially all theaters are open, and in the US, where almost 300 theaters are currently open for business. So a growing consumer confidence in their cleaning and safety protocols continues to generate increased attendance and food and beverage spend, and they look forward to basically offering a full slate of new and entertaining film products to further this drive attendance over the remainder of 2020.
All right.
But the sale failed on Monday, and it's very positive. So everyone in the industry is pretty excited about it, that there will be a save for AMC.
Yeah, I don't see it as a save, but I mean, I know you're a Hollywood insider, but just talking about on the financial side, I don't see it as a save. I see it as when you have to start selling off valuable properties for liquidity, then that means you're bleeding oil in too many places, and the motor's about to blow up. You know what I mean?
You're 100% right, but it's better.
It may be good for the acquirer, because I'm sure they got a nice price below, what AMC probably wanted.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know that it's going to help AMC at all.
Well, I would like to continue to have cinemas to be able to go watch movies in every now and then.
I'm with you. I love having cinemas, but it doesn't look like, this crazy pandemic is going to let people get back into theaters. And how can AMC live when movie theaters are closed? It's just, simple zeros and ones. You know what I mean?
Getting harder and harder.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. Now, I know from the beginning, from even before, Weinstein was sentenced and it was tried and sentenced, you were like all up on that stuff. Right in there, reporting from the courthouse and everything. Now, again, this settlement that Harvey Weinstein made with all of his, potential victims or alleged victims, he's not paying any of that, right? That's all coming from his insurance company and the bankruptcy from Lionsgate, right?
Correct. So the Weinstein Company bankruptcy estate has offered a new settlement proposal that would reduce the payout to his sexual misconduct victims by $7.2 million. And under the new terms, his victims and their attorneys would receive $17.1 million, which is down from the $24.3 million in a deal that was basically rejected in July by a federal judge. Now, this Judge Alvin Hallerstein, decimated this proposed $19 million class action settlement for victims. And today, the latest filing in bankruptcy court in Delaware has set aside just over $17 million for his victims and their respective lawyers. But this is, like you said, an attempt at an insurance-backed deal. Because under this new plan, which is approximately $10 million less, more than half of the settlement funds are paid to, ready, Robert Weinstein and the ultra-wealthy former directors of the Weinstein Company, as well as the Weinstein Company's creditors, including huge media companies and famous actors. So, this is definitely not a deal that, when you look at it, roughly face value, it seems like there is, it's like a cop-out. But everyone continues to be perplexed, nonetheless, by this Attorney General of New York, Tish James. I mean, her endorsement of a resolution like this that is a complete and utter sellout of Harvey Weinstein's victims. I mean, I'm completely baffled why the Attorney General of the state of New York would continue to support an agreement that a major judge on a federal bench rejected as basically phony. So what does that tell you about Letitia James? Very far from supporting the rights of women, that Ms. James is putting the support of her office behind the wealthy good old boys network who accepted Harvey being Harvey for so long.
No doubt.
This is a disgrace, in my opinion. And I'm hoping that the bankruptcy judge, Mary Walrath, will see through this sham of a settlement. And, you know, it's obvious that that only the lawyers who are looking out for the survivors are the lawyers who are actually litigating their cases and trying to hold the responsible parties accountable for their conduct. Everybody else?
No. Pause. Take a breath. I know you get excited about this stuff. So net, the victims, however many they are, they're going to get $17 million. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what the proposed settlement is, but we don't know if that's actually going to happen because right now.
How many victims?
You know, well, let me throw the ball back to a friend of ours that we know who's been on the show, Idala. So Idala said, you know, those yelling loudly seem to ignore that many parties want the settlement to succeed. And importantly, it's not just the Weinstein defendants, but the plaintiffs themselves who recognize that this is basically a realistic recovery route because Harvey Weinstein is not wealthy anymore. He's
well, that's what they want us to think. But let me just revert back to the simple question: how many victims?
There's, oh my goodness, there's over 100. There's more victims keep coming up. So
no,
right
but
now,
I'm saying in this settlement right now, there has to be a defined class of people.
101 victims.
101 victims. So they're going to get like nothing. They're going to get 100. They're going to get 170,000 each pre-attorneys.
If that, because you have to factor in all the administrative costs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The whole lodestar and the lawyers and all the fees that have accrued. So they're going to get, if they're lucky, they'll get a check for 100,000 taxable.
Yeah.
So it's like, if sometimes you got to get, you know, I think they call it like a universal settlement where everyone has to agree. And if you know, maybe a few people hold out and say, you know what, screw you. We want the money. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
Well, that's exactly what you're saying is exactly what's happening. There's a few defectors who don't want this deal, who don't want this global deal. They want to basically be able to pursue Harvey Weinstein and have the ability to, you know, take the route themselves, even if it's lengthier, even if it's costlier, even if they won't get funds right away. There's some of the women that would rather go that route, while others want this nightmare over with. They want to settle. They want to get this out of the way and go on to the path of healing emotionally, you know, and recover from this nightmare. You know, it's a toss-up. It really just depends how what your point of view on this is.